That was an adventure. I felt my heartbeat change and stuff like that. That was really interesting.
As someone who does tend to get rather anxious very quickly, that's totally how it is. Like you can feel the blood pumping through your head and you can hear it in your ears. So that was actually quite accurate, which I appreciated.
I was like, am I having a heart attack?
The intention of the art piece was to create a sense of empathy within an audience. The participant immersed within the space will become a target of embodied anxiety, created by the artists using their own experience with a psychological state. Metaphors in the form of sounds, images, and spatial clues were used to communicate the artist's own experience of anxiety. Those metaphors are here to induce feelings of overly self-awareness, entrapment, loss of control, and intensity in the audience, so that they will better empathize with anxiety as lived by others.
We looked at a variety of work, as each iteration of our project shifted our needs and understanding of technical requirements. The first of which was Yayoi Kusuma, a Japanese artist and writer who has been influential globally in creating infinity mirror rooms. Similar to Kusuma, who was fascinated in polka dots and famously applied it to every infinity room work to create something new, we hope to do the same for feedback loops, using mirrors and reflections to immerse and isolate people in an infinite space. This creates an illusion in our mind, allowing us to believe we are occupying both an expansive space and a small one based on our level of immersion. Kusuma was influential in helping to understand the concept of infinity rooms and how they work, in particular how the reflection works based on the direction of someone and how the light reacts with two-way mirrors. The second was a project from SIAT by Mirjana Purpa and her team called Pulse, Breathe, Water, a VR project, which used a breathing sensor to manipulate data to create movement in a virtual space. The VR space was representative of our breathing, moving back and forth in two directions, analogous to how we breathe in and out. This helped us in moving away from using physical movements to sense data and towards a person's heartbeat, as it is more difficult to manipulate. In addition, we drew from the idea of having the VR space react to sense data and toggling it on and off to see how it would impact the user. Mirjana's project helped us to define how we could use a heartbeat sensor to create sound based on BPM, which correlated to a musical score tempo. The Panic Room by Beth Davis Hofbar was helpful in understanding how anxiety could be created in a virtual space, drawing from the concept of creating a narrative from incidental sounds and juxtaposing this with a slightly disjointed environment so that rather than giving a cohesive experience, they jarred the audience. The premise of this project was to help create an empathy to a virtual experience which we hope to emulate to an extent.
For the technical aspect of our project, we had the installation set up in two parts. First part consisted of the mirror feedback components that were in charge of sensing movement and outputting it to the TV. The second part consisted of the sensing components that were in charge of sensing the heartbeat and outputting the sound. On the sensor side, we had the pulse sensor, Arduino, Bluetooth module, computer, and headphones as components. The pulse sensor, the Arduino with Bluetooth, and headphones were located inside the room, while the computer was located outside the room. The Bluetooth component was in charge of wirelessly sending the pulse sensor data to the computer outside the room, but due to time constraints, all components were connected by wire. In terms of function, the pulse sensor, which is connected to the participant's finger, would sense their heartbeat and relay the signal to the Arduino it is connected to. The Arduino would do its own processing and data smoothing, and then relay the data, BPM, and other things, to the computer it was also connected to. The computer running a program in processing would receive that data and use it as input in the soundscape script that was created by one of our teammates. Based on the user's heartbeat, the soundscape was determined, and the sound the program outputted would then be relayed to the headphones that were back in the room worn by the participant. This allowed to create an environment that was influenced by the user's status and allowed them to experience the soundscape that was in a way catered to them. The TV mirror setup was comprised of a pair of two-way mirrors, a camera, a TV, and a computer. The technical implementation involved having the mirrors in the front and the back of the participant. creating an infinite mirror effect when the environment was calm. The camera was located behind the frontal mirror along with the computer, and the TV was located behind the back mirror. How the setup worked was that the camera would pick up movements from the participant, by which it would then relay the video feed to a computer, which then did some processing and additional effects, from which the result was then outputted to the TV. This then results in a repeated effect in the mirrors, the effect being a slightly delayed and amplified smoking effect of the participants' movements.
Pleasant to listen to? No, like this isn't your typical white noise that you just listen to casually.
Actually, it was a very enjoying experience. I wanted to see where the chaotic part was going to go more.
I didn't really.
Interestingly enough, interviewing participants after they went through the Anx Zone revealed a variety of experiences that contrasted both among participants and with our own
Making more
expectations.
uncomfortable.
It was effective. Obviously, the point of this isn't necessarily to enjoy it. It's meant to induce anxiety. So in that, it was quite effective. It was fairly accurate to what anxiety feels like, at least to me, my experience of it. So yeah, if that's your goal, then yeah, it totally works and it's perfect.
I don't feel like it really made me more anxious. The imagination of creating anxiety became actually an oral sensation for me. I enjoy listening to music and travel and even getting a little bit more psychedelic.
We believe that what this range of feedbacks from our participants represent is the subjectivity of an emotional experience like that of anxiety. Some people may interpret an experience as being anxiety-inducing, while other people may enjoy it and feel comfort within it.